Good morning, welcome back. Okay, we are on day 2, making our own starter. I'm going to show you what you want to look for. This is our mixed buddy. This is Tonks. Okay, my kids named these. The mixed one is Tonks, the all-purpose is Luna, and the wheat is Albus. All right, so now you know. Now you know where we stand on Harry Potter. Okay, so here's what you're looking for. Bubbles! You're looking for bubbles! Okay, that's one thing. This means there's action happening in here. So exciting, right? Okay, another thing you want to look for, and this probably is going to be more prevalent in just a whole wheat one. It goes through, it's just consuming all the goodness in here faster probably. So, okay, this liquid is just alcohol. It's a byproduct of the fermentation process. Anything you ferment has a natural alcohol. This one, we call it the hooch, and we just pour it off and feed our starter when we see it. And some of you have questions. I'm gonna do the Q&A in a little bit, so we'll keep that separate from this video. What I wanna talk about today, one, that's all I want you to do today, okay? There's different methods. For me, for today, I want you to just see if there's action happening. Just observe and celebrate, yay! And maybe there's not, maybe the bubbles came in the night and deflated. That's all I want you to do, just look at it. Just be like, oh, you're so cute, you're doing stuff. And then leave it for another day. And we're gonna come back and feed it tomorrow. So for today, just observe, give it some love, okay? This is why I call myself the crazy bread lady, now you get it. So here's what I want to talk about in this part of your class. I want to talk about grains and how they are designed and why they need the starter. Why for thousands of years this is how people made their bread, and why grains were designed to be used with this method to give us the most benefit. So you might be thinking like, oh yeah, I love the taste of sourdough, that's awesome, whoops. But there's so much more to it. There's so much going on in this little jar, so much. So I'm gonna tell you about it. This is your first step. This is what is it? What is in this jar? It's obviously flour and water, yeast and bacteria. So wild yeast from the air, the bacteria in the flour comes together in a perfect symbiotic relationship in this environment, in this little jar, to create seriously something magical. And you're gonna see just how magical as we go through, and I teach you about all of it. So grains, okay? This is some wheat. This is actually my OG jar that I used to take to my classes as a prop. I want to talk about grains and how they're designed. So by design, grains have a built-in defense mechanism built into them. And you might have heard people talk about phytic acid. So phytic acid is an anti-nutrient. People call it that. That's what it is. It holds on to the nutrients within this little kernel of grain. You guys, it's so tiny you can't even see it in my fingers. It holds on to the nutrients. It's built in. This phytic acid is built into grains and nuts and seeds. It's this defense mechanism that they have to protect themselves. Because what is the goal of a grain? To grow, right? To be planted in the earth and grow. That is its design. That's what it was made for. That's what it lives for, right? To be planted. So there's a reason that cows need 4 stomachs, because they can't really digest the grains. They aren't meant to be digested by us. They have this phytic acid holding under lock and key in maximum security prison within this little grain. The phytic acid is holding on to the nutrients that this grain holds. Crazy, right? So here's why you need this, because what grains are looking for, I know you can't see it. What grains are looking for is the perfect environment to grow. They need a place that is warm, acidic, and moist, and they are going to grow. And that is when the phytic acid will release the nutrients inside the grain to be used and consumed. So we are tricking the phytic acid into believing that we've planted, I keep switching my starters, we're tricking the phytic acid within this grain to believe it's been planted by introducing it to this warm, moist, acidic environment within the starter. We're tricking it. We're saying, yeah, you've been planted. Give us all the good stuff and grow. Okay, so it is a trick. So what the starter does is it neutralizes the phytic acid within your grains, nuts, and seeds. Same with when you're gonna soak something and sprout it, it's just neutralizing that phytic acid and giving you the nutrients that you want, right? You're like, yeah, whole grains, they're so good for me, but man, they really hurt my stomach. Or, whoa, everyone says to eat almonds, but bloat city, right? That's because they are not made to be digested by us until they're prepared properly. And part of that preparation is using this wild yeast, this natural yeast, this magic yeast starter to help that process, okay? So that's what it is. It's magic in a jar, right? Like this is going to, all the flour that you add in your recipes with this starter, the starter is going to neutralize that phytic acid and start breaking things down so that you can get the most out of the grains that you're going to consume. So people are afraid of grains. They shouldn't be afraid of grains. They should be afraid of yeast, right? It's just the way we prepare the grains. So if they're prepared properly, they're much more easily digestible and they're so good for you. So I'm gonna do a separate video on all the benefits and blow your mind. It's gonna be good. But for now, for today, I just want you to look at this starter day 2, find some bubbles, celebrate with me. I want you to take a picture. I want you to tag me so I can share the love, share what you guys are doing with your starter. Show me if you're getting bubbles, okay? I'm gonna do a separate video for those of you who have a starter lurking in the back of your fridge and don't know what to do with it or if it's still good. So we'll check back on that later.